Hello and welcome back. Turn down the music because, oh my gosh, that's so loud. Okay, so this is obviously a sci-fi fantasy type game, um, set in the distant future, and I forgot to turn that off. But I need to pick a name first. Huh, what could be? The thing is, the name kind of depends on which race and pronouns I'm going to go with, and I haven't decided on those. I'm going to use my trusty dice. I use six to be specific. And there was one that got six here. Okay. Well, no, it won't be dependent on that. So we're doing. We're gonna try to be as random as possible. Where I let the dice make most of the decisions. Just because it's fun that way. So I need a name. Preferably one that's sort of gender neutral. I mean, it doesn't have to be gender neutral, but kind of prefer it that way. Just because my name. I'm not sure I've had this figured out. Good thing I have a PC as well as a laptop. Well, I mean, Sasha is a gender neutral name because it could be both. But should we go with Russian? A lot of Russian names can actually be either or, at least my understanding of it. So, let's see, would Russian fall under Asian or European? European, interesting. Okay. So, can't take masculine, can't take unisex. That's interesting. Interesting. Okay, so we will go with Tony, and because it can be masculine and feminine. So we notice we don't choose a last name, and you'll find out why as we go through the story. So pronouns. I have a D6 here. 1 or 4 will be she, her. 2 or 5 will be he, him, and 3 or 6 will be they, them. 6, they, them. Oops, wrong mouse. Okay, so this is why it's a little Tilaari, because there's 3 races. You can be Tilaari, a gentle and intelligent alien race dedicated to their medical studies and nurturing way of life. Human. The most populous of all species renowned for their scientific advances in engineering, Kitalphan. Kitalphan, excuse me. A humanoid race gifted with the ability to live both on land and or water. Its unique species easily adapts to their chosen habitat. So you notice that when we mouse over Kitalphan, skills are highlighted, and there's bubbles. Humans, their eyes, and technology, and Tilaari, stars, and just their general outline. So, again, D6, 1 or 4, we will go with Tilaari, 2 or 5, we go with human, and 3 or 6, we go with Kitalphan. 6 again. So, as you can see, I've played a lot. Let me find an empty slot here. There we go. I got a little enthusiastic. Back up. Oops. Okay. My eyes crack open slowly, one and then the other. There's a heaviness that's settled behind them, and I squint to adjust to the fluorescent lights hanging overhead. With a low groan, I manage to push myself up on my elbows, surveying my surroundings clumsily. A small room, metal walls, a desk, 2 doors positioned opposite me. A couple of empty crates are stacked in one corner, and overall the room gives off the impression of being unused. No personal belongings, no decorations, all quite bare. I panicked for a moment, my mind racing through all the possible reasons there could be to explain my being here in this place I don't recognize, with no memory of how I got here. Am I in a cell? I pushed myself to a sitting position, my body feeling like an entire building is falling on it. I wonder if that's true. The mattress beneath me, although soft enough to be comfortable, does nothing to soothe the ache that has settled in my muscles. My eyes look over the small room once again, eyebrows dipping in confusion. There's something else, worrying. I feel it almost as much as I hear it. Is the room moving? My breath sticks in my throat, panic and confusion rising in me like a wave. Where the hell am I? And why can't I remember anything? The door opposite me hisses and shifts, sliding back into the wall as it opens, and something in me turns defensive, pulls my knees up to my chest. Oh, I didn't know you were awake. Oh, hello there. The man that enters is so tall, his head almost touches the top of the door frame. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I'm short. Yes, I am short. And I don't always remember how to talk. Oh, sorry, I just happened to notice something. I have these tokens that I can flip. Oh, no. Nope, never mind. That was I trim my nails, so now it's hard for me to sometimes open things. Because I would use my nails to help with that, and I can't. Okay. Nope, here's the rest of my deck. Just in case I need it. Apologies, I should have knocked. He offers me a tight smile, and the metal chair beneath the desk scrapes across the floor as he pulls it out, sitting and leaning forward with his arms rested on his knees. How are you feeling? He looks at me expectantly, and I refuse to let my guard down so easily. An answer escapes me anyway. Okay, so first choice. So got a D4. Odd number, first answer, Even number second answer. 1. I looked the man over from a gentle half-smile to his casual posture. My gaze falls nervously upon the pistol strapped to his body, but there's nothing in his demeanor that suggests he intends to use them. He certainly doesn't look like he's here to harm me. I think I'm fine, thanks. I'm glad to hear that. His eyes squint when he smiles at me, and I find myself thinking there's something I like about them. Something warm. I was worried about you after... His eyes flicker a little, almost as though he'd take back those words if he could. After what? The awkward silence that follows is noticeable, his hesitation hanging thick in the air. Something happened, something big, and somehow I can't remember what. So even in the face of such uncertainty, one thing is abundantly clear. Whether I trust the man in front of me or not, I need answers. Okay, I can't remember if we get both questions. So again, thanks. Odd number first question, even number second question. This time a 3. Last time it was a 1. Who are you, anyway? He hesitates only a moment before something unseen inside him shifts. I'm June. The ship we're on is the Andromeda Six. The fast cruiser around and my home. At least for the time being, anyway. June pauses before saying any more, his brow furrowed in thought. What can I call you? I open my mouth to tell him. I stop short when no memory of my name surfaces. Who am I? I have a name. I feel it there on the tip of my tongue. Every time I reach out, it escapes me. I'm not sure. June frowns, and I can't keep the worry from bubbling up inside me. I should be able to remember something as simple as my own name. Closing my eyes, I try to coax the memory to the forefront of my mind. I can almost feel it on the tip of my tongue, and I know it's close, hidden behind the mist in my mind. Nothing. I can't remember. My throat tightens at the realization. Not knowing where I am is one thing, but not knowing my own name. All the names that cross my mind feel foreign, not one of them standing out as mine. Panic begins to crawl into my lungs, contracting my throat and leaving me gasping for breath. Hey, don't panic. Look at me. June pulls his chair closer to the bed, his eyes locked on mine. He takes a deep breath in through his nose, releasing it slowly through his mouth. With a hand, he gestures for me to do the same. After a few breaths in and out, my muscles seem to unite a little, reason returning to me. Now close your eyes, relax, just keep breathing through it. I'm hesitant, but I follow his instruction. Rolling my shoulders a little, I close my eyes and let out a deep, shuddering breath. I know my name. It's here, somewhere. Don't try to force it. Focus on clearing your mind, calming it. Let it come to you. His voice flashes over me like a balm, soothing and healing my fractured nerves. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Ever so slowly, my mind empties, the darkness it leaves behind like an endless abyss, waiting to be filled. With a few more moments, something clicks into place, like the download button in my brain has regained power once again. Trying to hold all other thoughts at bay, I part my lips and speak the one word that hangs like a neon light in the back of my mind. Tony. Tony, that's my name. A breath of fresh air washes through my lungs, and my frustration from earlier receding a little. I try to push a little further, a last name, or even my home. But the more I try, the more the black hole of my memory sucks me into nothingness. Nothing comes to mind, not even the slightest inkling. I decide not to push it anymore for now. My first name will have to do. Slowly, I open my eyes again, a smile tugging at my lips as my eyes fall upon June and that contagious lopsided grin of his. I'm Tony. June grins wider, and it's one of those smiles that reaches his eyes, wrinkles the skin beside them. It's a pleasure to meet you, Tony. Just let's admire June for a bit. And take notice pistol and the pattern and the logo and scars and place it on both wrists. Just be pretty. They all are, but that's kind of the point. Do you remember anything else? I search my mind, every darkened crevice and corner, but come up short. No. June lets out a sigh, as if it burdens him to be the one to tell me whatever comes next. There was an attack on the pass in Tilaari. We found you unconscious nearby. A bridge had collapsed. Well, it had been destroyed, actually. Our medic healed what she could, but we never expected memory loss to be a factor. Perhaps you lived around the area. Does any of this sound familiar to you? I shake my head. I call the city as Tilaari, capital of the planet Goldus, but did I live there? Do I have a wife there, or a family waiting for me? I know these answers because I've played this game several times. But I'm not gonna tell you. My mind seems bathed in darkness, coming up blank with each attempt to remember my past. I'm sorry, I remember the city, but nothing past that. June ducks his head, thinking for a moment. Could be some type of short-term memory loss. We'll have our medic look over you again. If you remember where you're from, we can help you get back there. There must be someone waiting for you. There isn't. The words leave my mouth before I can stop them, but somehow I know it's true. And even if it wasn't, what good would it be if I can't even remember them? June shifts in his chair, but I cut in before he has a chance to say more. All I know right now is my name. I have you to thank for that. It's a start, right? I chew on my bottom lip anxiously, feeling his eyes flicker over me. I know the thought of forgetting everything should be terrifying, but for some reason I feel... So, trusty dice again. Odd number first answer, even number second answer. Up to 4. Worried. I'm not scared of not knowing, but still. What if I'm forgetting something important? Someone important? What if I had plans and a life and responsibilities? I have to remember, June. An uneasiness swells in my stomach, and I think that perhaps I'm more shaken up than I've let on. The only consolation is that June seems even more concerned than I am. His eyes go wide at my words, and I can practically feel the concern dripping from him. I'm sorry. We should get you to the medic. She'll be able to help you far better than I can. She's Tilaari. Perhaps you remember their reputation? Indeed, Tilaari are exceptional healers, so I can't recall ever meeting any of the species before. Not saying anything. June offers his hand to help me stand, and when I take it, his skin is surprisingly warm, stark contrast with metal walls of the room around us. The thing about Tilaari is their skin lights up when they feel certain emotions. And they have unusual colored skin, at least unusual to humans anyway. You'll see. Despite the roughness of his skin, the calluses on his fingers, his touch is gentle. For a moment, I think I'm okay to stand on my own, but when I let go of his hand, my legs buckle beneath me. Letting out a yelp, I'm hit with the sense of falling for only a split second before a strong arm wraps around my waist, holding me up. Tony, are you alright? Okay, so we are definitely going to pick a third option, but this is one of the things I love about Andromeda 6, is you get a choice of the flirts. Most games, you get a flirt option, and that's it. Andromeda 6, they give you 2 flirt options, and that's usually, most of the time, you get 2. So we're going to pick between the flirt options, because that's what we do. Well, that's what I do, is I flirt with everybody. So, odd number first flirt option, even number second flirt option. And it's a 3. We're going to go with the first one. June's arms around me make my skin tingle in ways I'm not sure they should. Can't help but wonder about that golden tan, about the strength I could feel under the fabric of his clothes. No, if you wanted to get closer, you could have just asked. What? No, sorry. I can't help but laugh at the way his face flushes, how his eyes go wide. For someone who at first seemed so composed, who knew he could be so flustered so easily? No need to apologize. I'm not complaining. Oh, and what I assume is an attempt to regain some of his composure. Well, I shall keep that in mind then. My mouth twitches in its attempt to hide the smirk that threatens to peek out at his words. Feeling steadier, I take a step back from him before my legs go weak again, this time for another reason entirely. Sorry for that. It was just... So, I'm not complaining either. Oh ho ho! His eyes lock on mine, and there's something different about them. Something I can't quite place. I shall also keep that in mind. What the? I'm cut short when the lights above us blink a couple of times and the ship lurches, prompting Drew to steady me with the hand on my arm once again. What was that? Just technical issues. What kind of technical issues? Last thing I need is to be stranded on a broken starship with no memory. One crisis at a time, thank you very much. Drew smiles at me reassuringly. Nothing to worry about. Come on, I'll show you to the infirmary on my way out. I followed Drew down behind Drew down a couple of corridors. The ship isn't massive by any means, but it certainly seems bigger than I expected. When he stops in front of a set of blue transparent double doors, he turns to me. This is where I leave you. I should probably get to the bridge before all hell breaks loose. But the alarm must show on my face because he shakes his head and chuckles softly. Nothing to worry about. Now head on in. Riona will take care of you. Thank you, June. He stops and gives me a strange look, his eyes wide. But just as quickly, he smiles gently and nods before disappearing down the corridor. When I enter the infirmary as cautious and quiet as a rabbit avoiding a trap, the first thing that hits me is the smell. It smells clean, but not in that sterile medical way. More like dewy grass and fresh rain, like the open air and sky. Oh, I love that. Just the thought of that. I've actually been able to smell it this past week or so because we've gotten some rain recently. It's nice because we don't get a lot of rain. It reminds me of a cool spring morning, though I can't recall having ever experienced one. It's almost homely. Oh, you're awake. The voice that startles me is surprisingly soft, and my head tilts to follow the sound. She's Tilaari by the looks of her luminescent skin, her primal yellow eyes. I'm Riona. It's good to finally see you up and about. You've been looking after me? She smiles, and there's something so soft, so calming about it, that it soothes right down to my bones. I'm reluctant to let my guard down so easily, but her soothing presence hardly inspires fear. Yes, I'm the medic here, and your name is Tony. Pleasure to meet you, Tony. Please take a seat. Let's have a look at you. She gestures with long, thin fingers towards the medical chair that's positioned in the center of the room. I follow her instruction, pressing the plastic that crinkles beneath me as I sit. I love these little details. Like I can almost hear that plastic crinkling. So, how are you feeling? Physically, I think I'm okay, but I hesitate and she cocks her head to the side, watching me curiously and giving me time to get my facts in order. I haven't been able to remember much besides my name. I see. Reno grabs a long silver wand from the metal table and holds it in front of me. May I? I nod and she lights the tip with a swish, shining the blue lights on the end into my eyes, one after the other. I suspected you had a concussion when they brought you in here. You had hit your head rather hard. I cleaned it up and loosened the wound back together, but I'm afraid there's not a lot I can do for memory loss. I've hit my head hard enough to need stitches, and there's still a scar on the top of my head. That's not fun, but it didn't knock me out, and I didn't lose any memory, but still not fun. Her fingers are cool against my scalp when she inspects the old wound next, giving an improving hum at whatever she finds there. Are you not having issues with your vision or coordination? The silver wand is pressed gently inside my ear before Riona pulls it back out and inspects the strange illuminated symbols on the side. When I first got out of bed, I lost my balance. Since then, apart from the memory thing, I've been feeling fine. Riona holds the wand in front of my face vertically, and a blue light washes over me, blinking for a few seconds before it dissipates entirely. Blue light special, aisle 3. I don't even remember where that's from. I follow her gaze to the screen behind me. The images have changed, depicting a series of numbers and icons I can't understand. Your scans are almost back to normal, aside from some freezing here and there, so that's to be expected. She stands back and inspects me, her nose crinkled slightly in thought. Physically, you're healing well. If you've already remembered your name, my best guess would be a mild case of retrograde amnesia. Amnesia? Well, it's more common than you may think following a head injury, so I can't say that every patient heals in the same way. But it will heal. I will remember, won't I? Rihanna gives me a sad smile, and in that moment, I know she's just as unsure as I am. Only time will tell. Perhaps if I ask you some questions, it might trigger a memory. It's worth a shot. Let's see, where did you live? Okay, so these questions and answers don't seem to have an impact on the story itself. So odd number first answer, even number second answer. We're rolling a d4. 1, first answer. I try once more to come up with some glimpse of my past, best to no avail. I don't know. Miriam must see my frustration because she smiles at me in encouragement. It's all right. Let's try another question. Let's see if you remember anything else. Do you have any siblings? Okay, same deal. Odd number first answer, even number second answer. So rolling a d4, same d4. I get the win again. I shake my head slowly. Still nothing comes to mind. I don't know. Fiona frowns. That's not the most encouraging sight. Let's see. Don't push yourself too hard. We can try again later. I nod and glance around the room, and once again I'm hit by that smell. I notice, though, there's something else mixed into it. Something sweet, almost fruity. Can I ask what the smell is? Oh, it's my mister. Rihanna gestures to a small cylinder-shaped object in the corner of the room. I can program it to replicate scents. This one is of my home planet, Tilaari. She giggles unexpectedly, as if she didn't mean to say that. I guess I'm a little homesick. Okay, again, this is more superficial, just kind of add flavor, so odd number first response, even number second response. Let's see if I get something besides a 1. Nope, still got a 1. I've heard Tilaari is beautiful. I mean, I'm not sure how I know, but I'm sure it is. Rihanna smiles fondly, and I get the impression she's envisioning her home in her mind. You're right, it is. Crystal water, clear skies, green stretching as far as you can see, and dotted all over the planet are enormous spires, towers that disappear high into the clouds. Each spire can hold an entire city, hospitals, schools, homes. People think Goldus is the shining star of the system, but Tilaari is the real jewel. It's more beautiful than this hunk of junk anyway, but don't let the captain know I said that. Why did you leave? She smiles sadly, and I can't help but to feel a little of the emotion myself, sinking into my skin like dew. I wanted to help the people that no one else would. Okay, 2 third options. Let's try a different, do I have another D4? Not in this set. I have plenty of dice, I just need to grab them. Alright, different D4. Let's see if I get something besides a stinking 1. Yes, I'm having far too much fun with my dice. Wait a minute, is there a D4 here? Yes, there is. There it is. Okay, I looked. Okay, same deal. Odd number first for adoption, even number second for adoption. Got a 4. Was it worth it? I don't mean to pry, but something about her makes me want to know more, to unravel those carefully crafted layers she wears like armor. Was it worth it? Truly being able to see the system, visit other planets would be an amazing experience. Just, other dice still there. Not in the way. What is that? Oh. Yeah, just don't need it to make a mess. Even though that's my life here. But we're not going to get into that. Yes, it was worth it. It wasn't always easy, but I've seen so many wonderful places. I've helped Kitalphan refugees find homes, saved travelers stranded in asteroid belts, delivered medicine to the slums on Cursa. I've seen some of the most brutal places in Celayota, and most of the time those in need begged us with nothing more than their gratitude, but it was enough. And, of course, I met wonderful people, some more special than others, even some I can call family now. Her expression softens at that longing clear in her bright eyes. I miss Tilaari, but Andromeda Six is my home now. I can't help but let out the breath of a laugh, and then in an instant her vivid eyes fixed on me. And so I like the way you talk about things that are important to you. I don't miss the pink flesh that spreads across her skin, the one I'm sure currently matches my own. Uh-oh. The ship lurches violently, and Rihanna and I grab hold of the chair, fixed securely to the floor to keep ourselves from flying across the room. What was that? Probably just a gas cloud. A pilot is usually good at avoiding them, but sometimes the autopilot veers us too close. We're all done here. Best you go back to your room and get some rest. Your body hasn't fully recovered. Do you think you can find your way back on your own? I'm sure I'll manage. Okay then. I'll bring you some food and fresh clothes in a little while and check in on how you're doing. I suppose we're heading back in the direction June and I had come from. At least, I think it was this way. As I continue walking down the corridor, I realize all of the doors look the same. Maybe I should have asked Rihanna to show me the way after all. The corridors are all metal walls and elaborate circuitry, fluorescent lights evenly spaced hanging from the ceiling, the occasional patch holding metal sheets together. I look around for some kind of sign, but find nothing, stopping only when I come to the next door. It's larger than the rest of them. It must lead somewhere important. Debating my choices for about a minute too long, I suddenly realize there's nothing to lose if I end up walking into the wrong room anyway. Yep, this certainly isn't where I'm meant to be. I should probably leave, but I could see the edges of a window behind a stack of crates against the wall, and it draws my curiosity. This must be the dock. The boarding area should be around here somewhere, which means the view from here must be breathtaking. Making my way past the crates, I'm now facing a large window. The vast, dark abyss of the universe laid bare in front of me. I count the stars as we pass, and I wonder if I'm truly from Goldus. Somewhere out there, the answers wait for me. I'm sure of it. Somewhere in the system lays the key to my true self. My only fear is whether it's a good idea to chase the ghosts from my past or leave them buried where they are and start anew. Well, look who's up and running. I clutch at my chest as I jump at the voice, trying to find the source. Relax, kid. I'm not gonna. Holy shit, is that what all the racket is down here? He steps up to the door, peering through the small window with a look of mild irritation. When he steps back again, he swears under his breath. This is not good. The captain's gonna flip his lid when he hears there's a hole in the cargo hold. A hole in the what? Is it safe for us to be here? He paces a few steps, looking at the door nervously before turning to me. That door is airtight. I'm more worried about the low talus supply. When I don't say anything, his lips pull into a tight line. Small fruit only grows on Tilaari? I shrug my shoulders and let out a defeated sigh. Doc gets cranky without her special fruit, and you do not want to see her when she's cranky. Come on, let's head to the bridge. We can chat on the way. He turns briskly, and I debate running in the opposite direction and hiding in my room. Before I think better of it, I'm forced to catch up with him. Even though his posture seems tense, the curve of his lips suggests otherwise. I'm Bash, by the way. You got a name? Tony. Pleasure. So, Tony, how the hell did you end up in the middle of the coup on Goldus? A coup? I don't remember. You don't remember how you got there? I don't remember anything, except my name. June helped me with that. Good old June, huh? He thinks for a moment before speaking again. Well, that's brilliant. Think about it. It's not every day you get to make up a brand new identity. You want to pick a new name? If you do it quick, I will tell anyone you swapped it. Not that there's anything wrong with the one you've got, but think of all the choices. I stare at him a little stunned, and after a moment or two his face drops in realization. Unless you're not happy about all this? Shit, I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes my head a few seconds to catch up with my mouth, you know? This time we're not going to roll a dice. We're just going to say it's fine. I smile at him. There's something addictive about his energy, the way he seems to be almost bouncing on air with each step. It's fine. To be honest, I don't know how to feel about it yet. It's an odd feeling, not knowing. I should be feeling something, right? But I don't know. It's confusing. I get it. There's nothing like solid on your ass to make you feel like nothing in this damn world makes any sense. It's an occasion. If it's any consolation, I've been there once or twice myself. He's smiling sadly, and I have a hard time imagining anything in the world bringing down the bundle of energy in front of me. My eyes drift to the way his tattoos flicker, glowing luminescent under the spaceship's lights, and then to the bionic arm at his side, a network of metal plates and connectors intrinsically woven together. And to be fair, I don't think there was any consultation between the two teams of developers when it came to design these characters, because if you remember, Finn also has a prosthetic arm. But it's part of the backstory for Bash. Just like it's part of the backstory for Finn, so I don't think that, I'm not sure if they know each other. Probably. In closer inspection, I notice the hastily patched repair jobs and oil-stained bandages holding parts of it together, and I can't help but keep a smile from tilting my lips. There's something about Bash that fascinates me, something ripe and unruly, and I find myself wishing I could learn more about him. Excuse me. Do the bionics make you nervous? I snap my gaze to his face, embarrassed at being caught staring. He laughs, and I can't help but feel like he's laughing at me. You never seen bionics before? Your mouth is practically dragging on the floor. No, I've seen them before, I don't know. Maybe I've never seen them up close. Oh, that's it, is it? You're hoping for a closer look? Okay, so again, rolling a d4 to decide which for option. Because we are playing with it, everybody. So odd number will be Blush, even number, so he wants to play along. Even, excellent. So he wants to play, student. He waggles his eyebrows at me suggestively, and a grin tilts my lips. You can play that game. I stop walking and slowly run a finger over his metal arm, and it's so cool under my fingertips that I almost shiver. Bash watches me warily, but doesn't stop me. Are you offering? He clears his throat, completely caught off guard, and I laugh out loud at the ruffled look on his face from the moment ending. Careful who you're playing with, Tin Man. He smirks, regaining his composure in an instant. Tin Man, huh? Haven't heard that one before. I like it. I prefer Man of Steel, though. I'm curious, do they give you any special abilities? Bash flexes his bionic arm in front of him, making a fist and relaxing it again. His face is strange all of a sudden, haunted by the ghost of memories past. This is stronger than any old human arm, fast to chew, crushes steel as easily as a tin can. But the real moneymaker is this. He gestures to his left eye, giving me the opportunity to study it closer. It's obvious on first glance that there's something different about it. The way it pulses a bright electric yellow makes his right eye, a dark forest green, seem almost dull in comparison. Infrared sight, X-ray vision, advanced targeting. I instinctively moved to cover myself before he laughed heartily, and I stopped, dropping my arms to my side and feeling a little foolish. Relax, kid. You'll know when it's activated. It glows red. I laugh at myself, trying to recover from my awkward reaction. And the tattoos? Purely ornamental, but I like to think they add to my overall formidable appearance. An ungraceful snort escapes me before I can stop it. I hesitate, deciding how to word the question that's poised on my lips, without sounding there's a missing word there, like I'm digging for gory details. How did you end up with them? I mean, if you don't mind me asking. Bash grimaces, and I'm immediately aware of how truthful I'm being. Sorry, you don't have to answer that. I'll make you a deal. When something worth sharing pops into that head of yours, I'll tell you. I agree with the nod of my head and a tight smile of my own, falling into step beside him once again. What do you think of our humble abode? Ignoring the fact, of course, that there's a great fucking hole in the cargo hold. Can't help but smile at the way Bash seems to flip something as serious as a hole in the spaceship to something of mere inconvenience. I haven't seen much of it yet. No one's giving you a tour? The outrage! You'd think they were a brand of bloody savages if you didn't know any better. Have you met the captain yet? No. Bash gives a scoff of a laugh and shakes his head in amusement. I can't see him missing out. That man's got a vendetta on a skill I've never seen before. Just stay clear of his warpath and you'll be okay, kid. So, let's see. Anyone else you'd like to know more about? Okay, so, obviously we're not going to pick that last option just yet. So we're going to use a D6. 1 or 4, the pilot. 2 or 5, Fiona. 3 or 6, June. 2. Fiona comes to mind. He gives you a look. One I can't quite decipher. That is, well, there's plenty I could say about her, but I'll save it for another time. His face changes at that. It comes faster somehow. Oh. Okay, now we're going to use a D4. Odd number the pilot, even number June. Even number, so June. It's a 2, for the record. June seems nice. The kind of boy brought you on board. Has he shown you his guns yet? It won't be long until he's whipping them out. Hold set for them. These are guaranteed the biceps. Just watch out for that pen of his. Straight teeth with confined spaces are not a good mix. Let me tell you now. Don't ask me how I know that. His pet? You'll know it when you see it. Trust me. And, of course, the pilot. There was mention of a pilot? Yes. Now, there's a pocket rocket if I ever did see one. Too bad she wasn't a fan of the water tank plants I drew up. Perhaps you'd be more obliging, but what I wouldn't give to see a full-blown space mermaid in all their watery glory. His mind drifts elsewhere for a moment, and when I clear my throat, he shrugs his shoulders and shakes his head. She'd rather live like a lowly old human. Can't see the sense in that, personally. You've obviously met me, the most handsome and talented engineer this side of Kelly has said. Or is that X? I'm not sure which one it's supposed to be. I would say that's all you need to know, but I'm sure there was someone else. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting someone? He holds his finger against his lips. I can't tell if it's serious or if this is all just for dramatic effect. So, June, Fiona, Dash, the pilot, the captain. There were 6. So there's one more. Snaps his fingers in front of him, grinning at me like as we walk through a set of double doors. Oh yeah, it's the assassin. Says he's a spy, but between you and me, I can see him sneaking up on me from a mile away. Uh-huh. He leans in closer to whisper the last part, his eyes glinting with an unmistakable mischief. Always lurking in the shadows, playing with his knives. You know, this one time I swear I saw him tell me what? Ah! Damon, hey, I was just telling the newbie here all about our happy little crew. Delightful. Please don't let me stop you. You know what? I think I hear the captain calling my name. What's that, Cap? Bash is already halfway across the bridge before I have the chance to say goodbye, leaving me standing on my own at the entrance. Well, not quite on my own, as Damon is still leaning nonchalantly against the wall next to me. I stare him a nervous glance, my skin prickling under his cold stare. The way he's looking me over makes me feel I'm not so much a guest on the ship, but his prey. I wonder, is he really an assassin? Trying to ignore his unnerving presence, I survey the front of the ship. The room is spacious, control panels spread across the front, 2 seats for the pilot and co-pilot, surrounded by a domed window and a cluster of seats behind them. I duck my head a little to see through the glass up ahead. The view of Celiota is even more breathtaking from here. I've no idea what the planet we're passing in the distance is, but somehow it makes me feel unnervingly small. A tiny, insignificant speck, alone in a vast galaxy. The drifting sound of Ardrian reaches my ears, and a couple of people I haven't yet met, coupled with Jim and Bash, pace across the room towards us. One man, his presence ominous, stops them all, his voice booming through the space. Excuse me. Over the whirring of engines and the grind of electronics, I can't quite make out what they're arguing about. I feel a sinking presence beside me, dark and ominous and entirely dangerous. Everyone I've met so far has been welcoming in their own way, but this man, Damon Bashcaldin, feels anything but. My eyes flick to the side, and I know, even before I see, that he's watching me. I'm debating if I want to let the deck stick or just go with my gut instinct on this. Or let's just hang back, because clearly there's something going on. And second thought, it might not be such a good idea to barge into the middle of a debate between people I don't know, and a ship I don't belong on, in the middle of nowhere. Tension hangs in the air, so thick you could cut it with a blade. I see now that any interruption would be less than welcome. I turned to find something else to do in the meantime, startled upon finding Damon closer than I had expected, staring me down through cold, calculated eyes. Good to know you're not as dumb as you look. He speaks with a tone that leaves me unsure of his intention, holding a thin blade between forefinger and thumb, sheathing it quickly upon catching my wandering eyes. And here I thought, after we found you smack dab in the middle of an attack on the royal palace, that you were a total write-off. Makes me wonder if I was wrong. I stare at him dumbly, utterly baffled by how anyone could exude so much charm but be so completely disrespectful at the same time. Tall, dark, and handsome is an understatement for the man in front of me, but there's something else. Something venomous simmering behind that wolfish smile, something that seems almost cruel in comparison to the beauty of the rest of him. Damon lets out a long, dramatic sigh, cocking his head left and then right, sizing me up. No, something about your slack jaw and half-witted stare tells me I most certainly wasn't. Okay. Alright. E6 10. So 1 or 4 would challenge him. 2 or 5 respond with sarcasm. 3 or 6 we say nothing. 5. Respond with sarcasm. I should be the bigger person, ignore him, or simply walk away, but I'm not. At least, I don't want to be. Oh, I'm sorry. Did my telepathic mind powers ask for your opinion? Damon blinks, utterly taken aback by my response. Thank you so much, oh wisest of sages, for gifting me with your words. I roll my eyes so far back in my head that for a moment I fear I'll end up seeing my own brain. This insufferable man is clearly intent on pushing my every button, although I'm trying to keep my cool, he's succeeding. Look, I wasn't the one who decided to haul your ass onto this ship. You'd still be back in the cold, stuck in the middle of a war for all I care. He shrugs nonchalantly, leaning back against the wall as if he were having any old chat about the weather. What is your problem? Damon pushes himself off the wall, shoving an accusing finger in my face and looking very much like he wants to toss me off this spaceship with his own bare hands. You come in here waltzing around, getting all up in our business, and you even have the nerve to talk back to me. I don't trust you. The challenge in his eyes would be enough to dispense with anyone, but I had tumbled far too deeply down the rabbit hole to give up now. You don't even know me. Exactly. I turned to leave, thoroughly done with this conversation and the way Damon's move chops and changes as quickly as a view from his cockpit. Where are you going? His silky voice stops me in my tracks, and when I look at Damon, it's as if I'm studying me curiously, as if I were some specimen in a laboratory. Back to my room. But we've only just started having fun. You know what else I'm good at? Finding out what people want, what they really want. He pushes himself away from the wall, stepping towards me with an unnatural feline grace. So tell me, Tony, what is it that you truly desire? His voice still holds what seems to be a perpetually snarky undertone. When he asks me that, I don't know. Damon narrows his cold eyes, and I look at him clearly unsatisfied with my answer. Everyone wants something. It's usually dark, twisted, and secretive. That's what makes us who we are. I have no idea what I want. Liar. I'll find out what it is, sooner or later. His hooded eyes slide up and down my body, leaving a burning trail in their wake. Is he really hitting on me? Okay, so again, E4 time says, so I'm gonna flirt. Odd number first option, even number second option. 3. You can try, but I doubt you'll get far. I wouldn't be so sure if I were you. He's just against the wall, cocking his head to the side curiously, the fluorescent lights of the ship casting shadows over his sharp features. Being near Damon feels like being stuck between both ends of a magnet. He pushes you away only to reel you back in again, same fiery intensity. It's smiling, exhilarating, and maybe more than just a little terrifying. I'm still struggling against the ocean of bewilderment he's drowning me in, desperately fighting to keep my head above the water, when his cool fingers grab my chin, tilting my face towards him. I'm always up for a challenge. I do hope you don't disappoint. I swallow thickly, knowing I'm being lured into one of his traps, yet unable to keep the roguish grin from tugging at my lips. I don't miss the way his tongue flicks over his bottom lip, or how his pupils go wide when those cold eyes hover over my lips, slowly dragging over my features with captive ease. He squeezes my chin just once before he drops his hand and relinquishes his hold. My skin burns from the contact, the ghost of his touch lingering a few moments longer, and I find myself quite unable to move, to breathe, to do anything other than stand here dumbly and pretend that my insides don't feel like they're slowly but surely caving inwards. Eventually, I clear my throat awkwardly, willing my limbs to loosen, and Damon chuckles at my attempts to compose myself, his eyes gleaming with the prospect of a challenge. I'm still lost in the moment when footsteps approach, heavy set and clipped, and a gruff voice calls towards us. Vesner! Damon rolls his eyes, his lips curling into a smirk as he winks at me, blue eyes glinting with amusement. He steps back slowly, one foot behind the other, and sliding his hands to his pockets. He turns, a shit-eating grin spread across his handsome face. Yes, dear? Is this really the time to be messing around? Damon gasps, holding a hand to his chest in mock offense. Messing around? Me? Why, Commander, I would never. You guys look so cozy over there, and you know I would never want to intrude. The Commander inhaled sharply, shutting his eyes and pinching the bridge of his nose in clear annoyance. Why are you... He stops fixing Damon with a dark stare, one that says, don't fuck with me, among other things. You know what? This isn't the time for your bullshit, Damon. I need you to go and do your thing. Until Bash gets awful on the line. We'll be paying a visit. Yes, sir. Damon gives a mock salute, pulling on a pair of black leather gloves and looking thoroughly unimpressed at being interrupted. He turns back before he leaves the bridge, sparing a single glance over his shoulder. Don't let out for me. I'm not sure which one of us he's speaking to, and in the end, I decide I'd rather not know. With a big swallow, I turn back to the other man, steeling myself against the wrath Damon so generously invoked in him. Damon was unnerving in his own kind of way, but this man is downright terrifying. Tall, rigid, with a scar so intimidating it makes my blood run cold. Looks like the warm welcome ended with Bash. What are you doing here? Folding his arms over his broad chest, he stares me down, and trying my hardest not to shrink under his glacial glare. Excuse me? He lets out an exasperated half of air, his sharp jaw tempting with his frustration. Look, I don't have time to babysit a stowaway. Do us all a favor and keep off the bridge, will you? You're not going to roll a dice for this one. And what else am I supposed to do? That's not my problem. June was the one who brought you aboard. Why don't you go and bother him? What? I'm sorry, did I not make myself clear? Stay out of my way. Look at him stupidly, attempting to contemplate how exactly one man could be so obnoxious. Play nice now, Calderon. My eyes flick up over him involuntarily. It's the look of a soldier, strong jaw, stiff back, stick up his ass about a mile long. Look, I really don't have time for... Ayame, get the goddamn ship on course. We are not stopping by the Kitalphan ruins. I don't give a shit what time of year it is. The woman barked something at him, and I back away slowly, thinking it's probably best to keep out of his way after all. I barely made it 3 steps before he turned, sapphire eyes landing on me in a cold stare, freezing me in place. You're from Goldus. Way says it isn't a question, but it catches me off guard nonetheless. What? That's where he picked you up, right? Right. So tell me, do you really think this new guy in power, Zovak, is going to be any better than the greedy son of a bitch before him? A flash of anger passes over his features so quickly I would have missed it if I wasn't looking closely. My eyebrows went together, confused. Maybe Rihanna was mistaken about my accident. I feel less like I've taken a blow to the head and more like I've been dropped into another galaxy entirely. Slightly meta joke there. I don't know. He sneers at me, his lips curled cruelly, and immediately I know I struck a nerve. You don't know? Isn't that what all you Goldians want? A fucking liberator? Back off, Captain. Woman, Ayame, warns him, her voice low but with enough venom coating it to be threatening. Calderon snorts, ignoring her. How do I know you're not one of his lackeys? Maybe this whole memory loss boy was the way to get on this ship. You think I want this? To not know who I am? Who knows what you'd say to worm your way into my crew? Takes a step towards me, and it's so intimidating that it takes everything I have not to move a muscle. You're unbelievable. You're becoming a pain in my ass, so I'm going to ask you one last time. Points a finger at me, and I was just the urge to shove it away. Are you working for Jeff Zovak? So we could be asking, are you such a dick? Just be like, who? I'm not going to roll the dice on that one. Who? Closes his eyes and pinches the bridge of his nose tight, and I can almost see whatever sort of patience he had left wither and die. I don't know what else he expected me to say. I have no idea who this Zovak is. What the hell are you doing on my ship? Your guess is as good as mine. Sounds to me like I need to have a word with June about picking up strays. My chest heaves with my anger, but I hold my tongue. He is the captain after all, even if his manners is much to be desired. Certainly not the charmer that Captain Kirk is supposed to be. Know this, until we reach our destination, all eyes will be on you. Are you always this paranoid? Paranoia is the least of my worries. Zovak is not a man to be trifled with. If you don't like him, then maybe he's not so bad. It takes only a second to know that this was the wrong thing to say. His lips curl back from his teeth, revealing a scowl so venomous my eyes widen. Not so bad? You think murder and deceit and radicalism is not so bad? His growl echoes straight through me, and I inhale sharply, meeting him head-on. Zovak, the bastard who forced the Crown Council to name him king, but not before killing the entire royal family. Think about that, will you? King Ferris, the 3 queens, and their 11 children, murdered. His eyes are blazing, the fury made obvious by the growl in his voice and the flesh of his skin. Now, how about you tell me again how he's not so bad? For fuck's sake, Calderon, have you really got to be a raging asshole 98% of the time? She grabs Calderon by the arm, pushing him back a step while she glares up at him. They are not responsible for the mess we're in. He fixes her with an equally hard stare, the tension between them palpable as he grits out from between clenched teeth. Set the course. Now. She merely rolls her eyes at him, storming back to the cockpit controls. Confusion was shown on my face because when he turns me again, he lets out a defeated sigh, rubbing a hand over his face tirelessly. You really don't remember anything. His voice is surprisingly gentle now, and I shake my head, unable to tear my gaze away from his. There's something about those eyes. Calderon's got a wall around him about a mile high. That much obvious, but every now and then there's a flicker of something. I didn't know better. I'd say it was sadness. He inhaled sharply, the red-up flash of anger melting away as he waves a dismissive hand at me. Whatever, I've got shit to do. Head back to your room. I'll have someone check on you later. I let out an impatient sigh. So, obviously we're still gonna start. He's still cute. And he's only paranoid because he cares about his ship and his crew. So that's admirable. So our number, first option, even number, second option. Kind of want to be the second option. We'll see. 3 are. I'm still reeling after this confrontation, but there isn't any point in prolonging that argument. It's clear this man is as stubborn as a mule. Fine. He grins, and even though it's still intimidating as hell, there's something handsome about it. It catches me off guard, and for a moment I struggle to right myself. So do you too have a look of common sense after all? He has a laugh, and a shiver snakes down my spine. That's more like it. Wait. What did you say your name was? I didn't, but it's Tony. He gives me a strange look, eyebrow quirked, and then he shakes his head as if to say he doesn't care after all. Well, whoever you are, we'll be dropping you off in Terranium once we get there. I suggest you come up with a plan before then. The streets of Nos Vega are not kind to the unprepared. Until then, unless you can do something useful, which I highly doubt, stay out of the way. The troops leave the room, but not before giving me another once-over, sizing me up. I stand there dumbly, watching the captain leave the bridge, his heavy-set footsteps disappearing underneath the hiss of the closing door. Sorry about him. It isn't personal if it helps. Okay, again, not gonna roll the dice. I glare towards the door, his words still rubbing me in all the wrong places. You're not the one who should be sorry. Ayame laughs, her tone low and disbelieving. You sound just like him. I glare shifts from the door to her, thoroughly unimpressed. Being compared to him is certainly not something I appreciate. I'm sorry, but trust me, I know Calderon is complicated, amongst other things. My eyebrows twinkle in confusion, betraying my calm exterior. There's nothing complicated about being civil, learning some manners in that case. Come on, I started talking to Damon before Calderon came around. He's not exactly Lord of Niceville either. Yeah, but at least he was honest. My eyes fix on her, the truth behind them blunt and unbroken. And he didn't call me useless. She says, taking on a thin braid hanging by her shoulder out of habit. Well, we're all a little cuckoo around here. Try not to let it get to you. Like I said, it's nothing personal. Besides, I could teach you a thing or two, like how to tell them both to take a hike. In more colorful language, of course. She laughs, and my lips curve at the sound. There's something calming about her, something that puts me at ease. It's a relief to know that this ship is not entirely filled with douchebags. I can't help but wonder exactly at the nature of her relationship with the captain. They seem pretty close, after all. The last thing I want is surprise. Perhaps an indirect perfectly best, or maybe I shouldn't ask at all. Why would she disclose her personal life to a stranger? I can hear the links in that brain of yours strangling from here. You want to ask me something? Go ahead. I won't bite. Unless you want me to. She has the last part with a wink, catch me off guard with her boldness. And so, again, dice. Odd number first option, even number second option. 3. It's not a big deal, really. I was just wondering you and the captain look close. Are you two... I'm letting her voice to dry out. It's almost funny to watch how her expression shifts from that careless confidence into one of utter disbelief. Wow, you want to know if they're a thing? With a laugh bordering hysterical, she runs a hand through her hair, drawing my attention to her face. I glance over the gear attached to the side of her head, and it looks advanced, amazingly so. What really catches the eye are the thin gills on the side of her neck, moving ever so slightly with each breath she takes. A Kitalphan. The feeling of familiarity warms something in me. It's a relief to know I'm not alone out here. We're definitely not a couple. Never. Ew. Gross. She makes a gagging sound before she turns back on me with a crooked grin, completely unfazed. He's more like a lame older brother. We've looked out for each other for as long as I can remember. That makes more sense, actually. I feel a little foolish and haven't thought otherwise at all. Hang on. You asked me if I'm single before getting my name? And they say I'm the bold one. The grin on her face is so wide it makes her eyes almost as thin as her gills. I open my mouth to protest, only to realize there's no argument. I did ask her relationship status before her name. This is awkward. I'm Ayame, and the one who keeps the steel tub on courses. Yours truly. But please, call me Aya. Ayame just sounds so Calderon, don't you think? She talks so fast, there's barely enough time for me to process the information. But I find that I like it that way. I'm torn about this one because I love doing the bold flirts with her. Because it watches her so much. So I let the dice choose for the others, so I gotta let it choose for her. So odd number first option, please go with the odd. The number second option. 3. Yes. My lips curl slowly into a crooked smile, but I'm not quite sure where the confidence is coming from. Perhaps it's simply Aya rubbing off on me. You could say I have my priorities in order. It's her turn to flash, and I struggle against the urge to chuckle when her eyebrows shoot upwards and her plump lips form a perfect O. Besides, you don't need a name to be memorable, even if it is a beautiful one. Yeah. Okay, I did not see that coming. My shoulders shake with the urge I had to tease her further, giggling at the expression she's making. The furious blush that takes over her cheeks is always slightly lessening, and then the look of pure confusion on her face. She led me to believe she's the bold one on this spaceship, but she's clearly not used to handling someone who meets her head on. I mean, I guess I squeezes her eyes shut and shakes her head furiously, trying to wipe the blush from her face. This good seer success is only partial. Well done, Tony. I can't remember the last time someone caught me off guard like that. I may have a gift. It won't be that easy the next time, amigo. I shrugged, trying not to let on how interested I may be in testing that particular theory. Thinking about that, however, brings me back the memory of the captain and his ultimatum. The smile on my face fades as I remember, and I can't quite explain why. I hardly know these people, but somehow the thought of being alone in the state I am is somehow terrifying. Hey, what killed you? Did you remember something shitty about your past? I wish. Shaking my head, I raise my eyes to meet her, taking in her settled concern. No, I'm not just not sure how much longer I'll be around. Why is that? You got someplace to go? Well, not particularly, but the captain said you're dropping me off in Terranium when we arrive. Eyebrows almost disappear beneath her hair as she stares at me, a mixture of shock and anger clouding her features. What the? He said he's dropping you off in Terranium? Terranium? Yeah, it's your next step, isn't it? It's my turn to look confused. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I couldn't have mistaken the name like that. It is, but do you know anyone in Terranium? Got any place to go? Any plans? I keep shaking my head at her questions, one after the other. My past is still a blur. These people are the only ones I remember knowing, and somehow I think I've gotten a little attached. With a desperate heft, I throws her hands in the air and starts pacing in front of me. Is he out of his freaking mind? No, he must have completely lost it now. Biting my lip, I hold her by the arm to stop her from burning a hole in the floor with the intensity of her pacing. It's okay. I can take care of myself or just ask around, get a job, or something to keep me going while I try to get my life in order. It's fine, really. The last thing I want is to cause trouble for one of the few people who's been so kind to me. They already saved my life. It's not right to ask for more from them. I stopped, pulling her bottom lip between her teeth before she turns to me. It's not fine. And in a job in Terranium, fending for yourself in that place when you don't even know your last name? Shaking her head, she put the hand on my shoulder, looking me dead in the eye. I start to understand a little of how she manages to keep a pair like Damon and Kaz around in check. Look, don't worry about that. I'm not going to let that dumbass leave you stranded and the hissing sound of the pressure door opening next to us interrupts Aya. Tony, didn't I tell you to get some rest? Startled by the stern voice, I turned to find a very annoyed doctor, her hands on her hips and her foot tapping expectantly. What's all this fuss about anyway? Sorry, we were talking and then I found out some dumbass was thinking of doing something even dumber. I lost my cool, right? Fiona's expression melts when she notices my confusion. My eyes so lean on Aya with an almost maternal fondness. Then you go and deal with it, Aya, but please don't drag Tony along with you. They need to rest. Now. A sheepish smile on her face, Aya squeezes my shoulder. Excuse me. Once more before walking to the door. Aye, on it. And then she adds quite enough for only me to hear. You better do what the doc says. You don't want to see her when she's mad. Her footsteps fade as she steps down the hall, and Riona offers me an apologetic smile. Don't worry about her. I'm not even sure what she's talking about. True, I think she was upset about me being in Terranium, but I can't really tell why. I don't think any of us do most of the time. Enough chit-chat. You need rest. Come on. Her smile is soft, but the firmness of her voice makes it clear that I don't have a choice in the matter, so answering with a smile of my own, I follow her away from the bridge. My body is still sore enough to be a bother. My legs haven't grown stiff from traipsing around the ship the past few hours. I don't notice it so much as I was talking with everyone, but resting doesn't sound half bad. After hours of lying in bed, tossing and turning, I finally admit that I'm not going to be able to get any sleep and fall instead for pacing in a small room. I can talk. Really? My mind is stuck in an endless loop, sprinting 1,000 miles an hour, and the harder I try to think about my past, the harder my head pounds against my skull. Nothing feels right. I'd hate to think what Rion would do if she saw me burning myself out like this, but I can't help it. Especially now that I need to come up with a plan for when I get to Terrenium. I don't remember much of the Junker planet like everything else, but I know it's not a good place to be alone. Gambling dens, arenas, bars, strip clubs. What exactly am I supposed to do in a place like that? It was easy to joke about starting a new life earlier, but now it's sounding a lot more daunting. Heaving a sigh, I eventually gave up on pacing and dropped down on the bed, crossing my arms behind my head and staring up at the metal ceiling, counting the bolts and rivets above me. My head shoots up at the sound of a knock on the door, and I push myself off the bed and walk over to open it. And this does not establish who you're going to romance. It's just someone to show up. But I always save here, just because. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. So I got a D6. So 1 is Calderon, 2 is Damon, 3 is Rihanna, 4 is Ayame, 5 is Bash, 6 is June. 1, Calderon. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Oh, it's you. Calderon cocks an eyebrow from where he stands in the corridor, and I get the impression he certainly wishes he was anywhere but here. I suppose I deserve that. I raise my eyebrows in agreement, but say nothing, only nod to my earlier conversation, flooding through me once more. Calderon rubs back to his notes anxiously, and it's the first time I've seen him do something that doesn't exude obnoxious energy. Obnoxious male energy, excuse me. I'm sorry about earlier. Do you mind if I come in for a minute? I think for a moment before I stand back, giving him space to enter the room and letting the doors wide shut behind him. He's so tall, so big, that the room seems comically small in comparison. I had forgotten we even had this room. Calderon glances around the room skeptically before his eyes land on me again. I told June to shove you in the nearest storage closet when he brought you aboard. Luckily for you, he never listens to me. I stare at him disapprovingly, choosing to ignore that statement and move on to the next. So, which one of them put you up to this? I don't bother to hide the skepticism in my voice. He was an absolute douchebag on the bridge earlier, and I think he's beginning to realize it. Are you assuming I didn't come here of my own free will? I give him a pointed stare, and his jaw flexes stubbornly before he breaks. Fine, it was Ayame, if you must know. I knew it! Alright, smartass, you want a medal? I laugh. It's amazing how, as obnoxious as Calderon is, he manages to make me forget all about the situation I'm in. It's only for a few moments. I don't miss the touch of his lips, the loosening of his shoulders, and when he turns to me again, I swear his eyes are softer. But I did want to see. How are you feeling? This question catches me off guard, and the floodgates of confusion open up on me once again. It's been mere hours since I woke up here on the Andromeda Six, but after everything that's already happened, it feels like a lifetime. Ironically, consider my memory of that life only began this morning. I drop down onto the edge of the small bed, arms folded over my chest. Despite everything, I can't help but to keep my guard up around Calderon. I know I've already surpassed my use of the sentence, but really, I don't know. I know how I should feel, lost, alone, terrified. But it doesn't feel so much like everything's gone, it's just hazy. Calderon looks at me in a way I've never seen before, as if he understands, but how could he? Lost somewhere in the back of my mind, waiting to be found perhaps, I have something that might help. He shuffles in the front pocket of his jacket, pulling out a small, spherical object. Holding it towards me, he studies me expectantly. What is it? Don't you know? Shaking my head, I reach for the object, feeling the cool touch of metal on my fingertips. You had it on you when June brought you in here. Thought you might recognize it. That it might help you remember. Examine the object in my hand. It's small enough to hold in one palm. There's something else. Something special. I think there's something inside. It beats me how to open the thing. I and Bash took a look at it, but nothing. All we know is that the metal, it's Kitalphan, hard enough to get a hold of even before the planet exploded. That's about as rare as a substance can get. And it's expensive, whoever you were. Not just anyone would own a trinket like this. That thing is worth enough to pay for the ship 10 times over. I'm in a partial listening to Calderon now, mesmerized instead by the small box in my hand. There's kind of power about it, some low, sudden energy running over my skin, desperate for release. Everything about it feels familiar, feels as if guided by some distant memory. I close my palm over the sphere, squeezing once before releasing it slowly. The first few notes of the tune tinkle from the sphere as it opens, and my eyes snap to Calderon, his face just as dumbfounded as my own. It's a music box. The inside of the sphere is an intricate maze of metal, moving cogs, neon lights, and sizzling energy, and my eyes are mesmerized by that movement, as it plays its slow, sad lullaby. Now take note of these initials up here. NLP. Just keep those in mind. The tinkling notes echo through the room, each as hauntingly familiar as the last. It's almost cruel how it caresses the edges of my memories, taunting me to remember faces and names that are no longer there. My heart tugs at the hopelessness of it all, and another sharp pain shoots through my head. With my teeth clenched tight against the pain, it's only now, when I feel the wetness on my cheeks, that I realize I'm crying. Why am I crying? The music box hasn't triggered any memories in me, only feelings. A sadness and longing so strong it makes my heart ache. The melody ends, and for a long time after, neither of us says a word, until Calderon breaks the silence, his voice barely more than a whisper. Anything? I blink a couple of times, my eyes focusing on the man in front of me. He holds my gaze since the first time I've seen any warmth in those sapphire eyes, though I doubt anything could warm the cold creeping through my mind, poisoning my veins and souring in my heart. I swallow thickly, and it pains me to shake my head. Okay. Odd number first response, even number second response. 2. Do you think I hesitate the words stuck in my throat? I don't want them to be true. They can't be true. Do you think I'll ever remember? I know Calderon can hear the bitterness in my voice. Perhaps that's why I take a step forward, his hands switching at his sides. I wish I had answers for you. I truly do, but the mind is a complicated thing. It suppresses memories it doesn't want to remember, holds tight to the ones it does. Even then, they grow hazy with time. I follow the trail of my fingers, closing the music box with a soft click. The pulses in my hand, its sad, sweet melody still echoing through me. There's still time, but you sure you want to remember? My eyes flick to his, the confusion hitting me like a brick wall. What? Have you thought that maybe whatever your mind is holding back from you is for your own good? I don't understand. Think about it. What if what happened in your past was so bad you simply don't want to remember? There must be something worth remembering. There has to be. I hope so. I'd better get going. Riona would kill us both if she thought you were doing anything other than resting. My mouth drops to insinuation and he chuckles. Get some sleep. The sooner you can get rid of me, the better, right? I may have been a little hasty with the matter. Just get some rest. That's in order. Good night, Captain. Good night, Stowaway. With a heavy sigh, I lay down on my bed, holding the music box up above me. The metal glints from the fluorescent light, and I vaguely recall hearing a Kitalphan the night before. The metal that was found on Kitalphan before it was destroyed, mined from deep below the water's surface in the ocean caves. That explains its pearlescent shine. Why do you feel so familiar? I speak out loud, squinting as something catches my eye within the intricate detailing. There's an engraving on it. NLP. What does it mean? Feeling the exhaustion weighing on me, I decide the question can wait. Opening the music box once more, I sat beside me on the bed, watching the dance of the lights and gears as the tinkling melody lulls me to sleep. And you notice it looks like there's supposed to be some sort of hologram, but it's not working. My eyes grow heavy, so heavy, and I'm pulled under by the weight of my exhaustion. Wavering on the brink of dreams and reality, I hear it. A sweet, strong voice. Familiar. So familiar. Be strong, Tony. Be safe. You're a fighter. A survivor. The day where I have to leave you will come. Sooner than we both know. Promise me. Don't give up. Who are you? Why? Why can't I remember you? Why does it feel like I miss you when I can't even... I'm sorry. I miss you too. Okay. Wow, that last bit was hard. Okay. So that's it for chapter 1. We will do chapter 2 next week. So I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, so obviously we will find out more about what's going on with you as we progress through the story. I'm not gonna spoil it, because that would be mean. I'm really torn about who to romance, actually. I didn't say it before, but the game itself is still in progress. It's gotten important enough that you actually pick a romance. You lock in a romance, I guess you could say. So if you'll notice, June, Damon, Aya, Kitalphan, Bash, Riona, and then this person. We will find out more about him starting next week. So we really won't find out more about him until the week after. So there's 5 chapters. And obviously when the subsequent chapters are released, I will play through them. I will do my best to wait and play through them first live, and then I will play through them for my other playthroughs. There is also a couple DLC which I will play once I finish playing through this, because one of the DLC is it gives you more time with one of those romance options, with one of B6. So it would make more sense to wait and do that once we pick the romance. But the other one, don't have to wait to do it, but I will anyway, because we started this first. It makes more sense anyway. So yeah, that's it. I hope you had fun, and I will see you next week. Take care.